Hi everybody, just to remind you, we will be underway very shortly indeed, so please stay tuned and quali will be underway within about 5 minutes. Good evening everybody and welcome to F1 tonight. This is season 4 and this is race 20, the penultimate race of the season. And apologies to those viewers who are used to my more enthusiastic and dulcet tones. Unfortunately, however, I am recovering from what the English refer to as the flu, or the common cold, the one that killed a few million people in the early 1920s, and that's pretty much how. But I've managed to garner just about enough strength to summon up the energy to be here with you this evening for this penultimate race. So excuse me if I'm not my usual fully enthusiastic self, but thankfully I am joined by my co-commentator Adrian. And how are you this evening, Adrian?
Well, much better than you are, I think.
You ain't kidding.
Respect to you for turning up, to be honest, like I said earlier.
Well, to be fair, I've had to
expecting
cancel a
to
few broadcasts this week,
Yep.
which I was a bit disappointed with, but didn't really have much choice. It was only today that I actually felt as if I might actually be human. So we're here in Q1. I've got to be honest, I think, we've got a full 20. We have, haven't we?
I think we've got 18 at the moment. Rude Window is missing. I believe he won't be with us tonight. John was saying earlier on.
So no Rude Window,
Portman.
no Jerome Portman. Yeah, yep. That looks about right. Yeah, so we've got Marcel France in the Toro Rosso. He's currently out on track. And so we will be going through Q1 from the 18 drivers down to 15. So we'll be dropping 3 drivers, 17th place respectively. Everybody's out on track. Nice dry track. And let's have a look here at get the data up and also the tyre detail. So everyone out on the super softs for this quali, apart from, oh, surprise, surprise, Seb Bogart.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he's up to be honest. He doesn't normally come out till late anyway, does he? Yeah, he's probably going to let the other drivers do their laps.
Well, he's actually out on track, so.
He is. He is out.
He is out on track, so I'm wondering if he's just sort of maybe scrubbing those yellows, scrubbing those softs a bit.
Yeah, it could well be. What other tyre choices there actually? I haven't done Brazil well for ages. One of my favourite tracks, to be perfectly honest with you. Not sure what the tyre choices are. We've got softs and supers. I think the medium is also.
I think the medium is another one for you. So I think it's medium softs and super softs. But
Yep.
obviously any wets or wet conditions. And judging by previous seasons, we have had wet conditions here during the race, so it would not surprise me that we do get wet conditions or rain either during qualifying or during the race, or possibly even both, because the weather conditions here can change pretty quick.
Yeah, they certainly can. I mean, Brazil, obviously, well, this part of Brazil, not too far from the Amazon rainforest, and yeah, they do get their fair share of torrential rain. We see it a number of, we see it often in real life. There's quite often big puddles, especially in this dip here in sort of the centre S's.
Yeah,
where the water just collects.
We'll run through the track, but at this moment in time, Seb Bogart standing a very respectful 108.9. I mean, that's that's pretty good. Nicky Visser just does a 108.7, so beats that. But that's on a set of super softs, and Seb Bogart is on a set of softs. So he's sending a pretty clear message there, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, there's sort of typically about 6 or 7 tenths between the different compounds. So you could say Bogart is on a theoretical 108.3 with that if they were all on the same tyre. Although Verstappen's just gone a 108.4. That's he's showing some real pace there. Both Ferraris looking like they might, it's only early doors, but they look like they might be on the front row, the two of them.
While we're saying that, Seb Bogart goes off track. I don't know if that was to let his teammate through.
Yeah, I think he just he did let him through just then. Yep. Yellow flag sector 1 and 2. Is that someone slowing down? Yeah, that's Mark Stappen just letting the driver behind go. I think that was John Dunkel went past.
Yeah, just running through the field here. I mean, we've got top 4 drivers in the 108s: Guido Ehrschein, Seb Bogart, Nicky Visser, Bas Breen. Damien Hartmann in the 109s, as is John Donkel, Miguel France, Marcel Dronig, Mark Stappers, Miguel Torney, and then Martin Paardenkoper in the Red Bull comes in on the 110s, Sander Hermans in the Mercedes 110, Kevin van Delft in McLaren 110, and we still have Rob Mulderink. He's out on track in the Williams, yet to set a time, and it's not looking too bad actually. Let's have a look what he does here.
He's actually gone. He went purple first sector, although Bas Breen's just put in another purple first sector.
He's done a 108.4, so that has put him into second place, 4.45. So he's actually 5 thousandths of a second off Bas Breen's time. So I thought that was looking pretty good time there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What we've come to expect, I think, from Rob Mulderink really now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's showing some real pace in the few races that he's had with F1 tonight. I was just going to say that is very, very close. It's just as close as the Synergy Division 1 race was last night in Q3. The pole time was just 6 1/1000ths faster than second place.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty close.
And it's not unusual to see, such close times, although obviously it can seem like an age, but I think 5 thousandths of a second is nothing, but that's just been smashed by Bas Breen with a 108.199. Is that correct? Yeah, 199.
Yeah.
So he's actually taken, just over 2 tenths out of that time from Rob Mulderink, and that was on the super softs. Seb Bogart's still sticking to the softs. He's in the pit. He doesn't really need to do much else, though, does he? To be fair, he doesn't have to set a fast time for this queue as long as he gets in the top 15, really.
Yeah, no, you're right. He doesn't. There's pros and cons to doing fast laps in Q1. The pros are, you're able to sort of get your rhythm, get in the flow of racing. But the cons are you risk damaging. Well, you risk ruining your entire qualifying session. Obviously, if you crash out in Q1, regardless of the time you set, that is it. You cannot participate in Q2 or 3. There just isn't time to repair the car. So yeah, it's always a risk for the drivers.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of that. So at this moment in time, we haven't got a official time yet for the drop zone, which will be P15. I would suspect that we're probably going to be looking around about the mid 109s, maybe high 109s, because obviously some drivers I think may not have put in the practice and others have, and you can always clearly see who has and who hasn't. So I don't know what you think, but I think it's going to be around about the 110 mark, maybe, you know, 109.7, 109.6 maybe.
Yeah, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head with that guesstimate. Yeah, we'll wait and see what we actually get for the drop zone. But, that's not really far off.
Well, Peter Phillips hasn't been with us for a little while actually, so he's actually out in the Red Bull. His teammate Martin Cooper obviously has been in a few races, and he's done rather well. Certainly in recent races, hasn't he? He's placed well. He's driven well. He's put some pretty solid races together.
Yeah, he's had good run of form lately. As you said, not had many races. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he does here at Brazil. Hope he does well.
Yeah, and let's hope his teammate does equally as well as the. I think there's the Haas moving over there to let Peter Phillips through. He's obviously on a fast lap. And he's just coming round sector 2 now into sector 3 shortly. Just trying to see where he's going to be coming.
It's not a bad lap actually. First and second sectors are not too far off the top. I think he's going to be sort of P6 or 7, trying to sort of.
I think that is going to be a 110. Oh, 111.2.
No, it's 111. It was that last sector.
So he lost it. I think he lost it on that last sector, that last turn, really. Looked like as he was coming round that sort of that rise of the boxes, as they call it, turn 14, and then dropping down to turn 15 with a DRS activation point. Here's a second DRS activation. You seem to lose a bit of time there. So, and it looks to me like we've got some rain.
Yeah, I just saw a few specks. I thought it was my screen glitching out, but yeah, no, it's quite typical of this race.
Yeah, as I said earlier, this is not unexpected. We had blazing sunshine no more than about 7 minutes ago, and now we're starting to see the rain come down. So not a great surprise there. And John Donkel's actually gone out, so I don't know if he hasn't DNF'd. I think he's just decided that he's okay with that 109.4, to be fair. And if the rain's starting to come down, I think he's pretty right. I think there's I think we're actually going to see those times come up, if anything. So I would suspect it's going to be. I'm just trying to think. Peter Phillips with a 110.0. Martin Cooper's teammate with a 110.1. I don't really see we're going to see much more than that. I think we are going to see as they are. I think Zander Hermans will get dropped. I think Kevin Van Delft will also get dropped. And I hate to see it. I think Martin Cooper, I don't know, 1/10. It seems an awful lot to try and eke out now that you've got a damp track.
Yeah, it's really sort of funny with the rain, because for the first they're kind of in limbo for about the first 3 laps, because while we're seeing the rain, the track is still sort of drivable on the soft tyres. So the drivers that in the drop zone at the moment, Cooper, Herman, and Van Delft, they need to get out there quick, set a fast lap, and hope the rain pours down sort of immediately after that. What they don't want to be doing is sitting in the pit lane and waiting for the rain to stop, because chances are it won't.
No, that is very true. And there are 6 minutes remaining. I mean, everyone's pretty safe. It's just these guys here at this moment in time. As we've said, the likes of both the Red Bulls, I'd say, really, Peter Phillips and Martin Cooper. Mark Stapper should be on standby, certainly. But Zander Hermans and Kevin Van Delft and Miguel Torney's actually disqualified.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did he have a qualifying ban that we know of? He was disqualified for going the wrong way. The only other possibility could have been he's gone off possibly at turn
Spun.
1 or the last corner. Yeah, tried to come onto the track and the game's just been totally unforgiving.
I suspect that he's probably spun it coming down the centre S. He's probably out of turn 2 into 3, and then just ended up facing the wrong way when he went onto the track.
Yeah, you could be right.
Mark Stappers, he's jumped out as well. So we've got 5 minutes remaining here. Be interesting to see what happens. We're on board with Peter Phillips. He's currently P14. He's on a 108 as he comes round. Obviously, I don't know, is DRS still active? I suppose it might, but 114. No, he's not going to better that time, is he?
He's probably not. I haven't seen DRS been, DRS being
deactivated. Well, they're still on the tyres, so they're still on the those tyres. So I suspect it hasn't been deactivated as yet.
Yeah,
Alexander Herman's looking very twitchy coming round there.
Yeah, still wouldn't want to sort of activate DRS. That you can see him as back end's very slippy slidey out there.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'll do actually, see if we can get somebody that we can. Well, I'll wait till next queue and we'll run through the actual track itself, because it's quite a unique track. Is I think the way to put it. I don't think there is any track that I can think of that I think, oh yeah, this reminds me of that track, or that reminds me of this track. It is quite a unique track, this.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly a very technical track, quite an historic track as well. So one of the very few left-handed circuits, and if you're aware of that, I think there's only 3 or 4 on the calendar at the moment. But yeah, it's certainly one of my favourites, Brazil.
Yeah, and it is, you quite rightly say, it is quite technical. I mean, we'll run through it. I think, as I say, I'll run through it in Q2. We'll go through the actual track itself and the corners and the approaches, etc., and the DRS points. But I think this is pretty much. I think this is pretty much sealed. I don't think Martin Parder Cooper obviously will go through, but I don't think Xander Hermans is going to better that time, and I certainly don't think Kevin Van Delft is, not if he's sitting in the pits anyway.
No, he's not going to do any faster laps from where he is there in the pit lane. But perhaps he's seen the rain and decided, no, there's no point chancing it. I'm happy with
Parder Cooper has retired from the session, and I think that's a pretty fair call, to be honest. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah.
We did have a yellow flag coming up there, so I don't know if somebody went off at the centres there as he was approaching the start-finish line. But he needs to better a time of 1:10.103. He said a 1:10.145, but that was in the dry conditions.
We're on. You're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any sort of faster laps from anyone for the rest of this session. Still a bit unfortunate, a bit anticlimactic.
Just be advised, if I'm suddenly cut out, it's because I'm probably choking to death.
Oh, Eddie.
Don't stress about it. Mate, seriously. Oh, I honestly felt like I'd been hit by a truck on Monday and Tuesday, and it decided to, just for good measure, reverse over me about 5 or 6 times.
Nice. Oh dear. And yet you're still committed enough to be here now, and for that we can only express our appreciation.
Yeah, committed is the word, actually. Yeah, I think I will have to get in touch with the local mental health unit.
At least you haven't not lost your wit.
Well, yeah, that's questionable.
Session's just drawing to a close. Only 30 seconds left. As I said, nobody is looking to improve their laps.
I think that's pretty much it. I think we're going to see, as we see there. So Zander Hermans in the Mercedes will be in row 8, P16. Row 9 will be Kevin van Delft in the McLaren P17, and P18 bringing up the rear will be Miguel Torni in the Force India. So we should be going over to Q2 shortly. Once we go into Q2, we'll jump on board with one of the drivers and just run through a lap of this track. And as I say, yeah, it definitely is unique. As I say, I'm just sort of thinking about it now, what corners remind me of any other corners, and there isn't really. I mean, the only one I can think maybe is the turn 4, which is reminiscent of a few left-hand turns that drop down into, another left-hand turn. I'm just trying to think what that sort of... oh God, there is a track I've got particularly in mind, and I can't remember what it is. I think it might be USA, actually. I think that's quite reminiscent of the USA.
Yep.
Turn 10, if I remember rightly.
Oh, yeah, good shout. Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good shout, that. Didn't actually, spot that.
So, I think that's pretty much it, really. I don't think there's much else. And I've been told by one of the drivers that apparently I sound sexy.
Well, you must be all.
Yeah. I may sound it, I can assure you I certainly don't feel it. So, there we have confirmation. Zander Hermans, P16 for Mercedes, P17 Kevin van Delft for McLaren, and P8 Miguel Torni for Force India. So 15 drivers now remaining going into Q2. And the question is, oh, look at that. It's not wet. It's gone back to being dry. Now this is going to be interesting.
Oh, hang on. I've got it chucking down with rain.
Oh no, it is raining. It is chucking it down. Now, sorry, I had a sudden sort of view there, and it was no rain. So, oh well. Right,
but your medication might be giving you delusion.
Oh, I haven't actually. To be fair, I haven't taken any medication. I didn't go to the quacks.
You just manned it out.
My wife has been giving me merry hell, but it's just pointless. You know, if you got the flu, you got the flu. There's not an awful lot you can do about it other than just get through it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm exactly the same. Hardly ever go to the doctor. Probably, I'd have to be almost dead to be even considered.
It's a man thing, I think. It's a man thing.
Yeah.
You know, my attitude is, by the time I go to the doctors and he gives me the penicillin, I'll be getting over it anyway. So what's the point? And I don't want antibiotics. So okay, so we're on the board now with Davey Hartman, and I'll just wait till he comes round after this outlap. And he is on the intermediates, so that does mean we will not have DRS.
Yeah. I'm slightly concerned that the Peter Phillips is on the super softs at the moment. Still in the pit lane, but I think he's toying with the idea. I'm slightly worried.
Not a good call, I would have thought, but still. It's interesting. I mean, if that's the case, then DRS will be enabled if he's got the option to go on to that, isn't it? Surely.
It doesn't quite work like that. It's down to the sort of in-game race director, the in-game Charlie Whiting, to make the call to activate or deactivate the DRS depending on how bad the weather is. So you can actually use it with the Inters equipped.
So
yeah, if race control permit.
Right, Danny Hartman coming around turn 1 now, into turn 2, and then round turn 3. This is the famous centre S. Exit, can move over to the right, hit the DRS point. DRS is enabled. And this brings you down then to turn 4. Hard brake, hit the curb on the left, ride it out to the right, ride that curb, be careful, turn 5, watch on the inside, go out there, coming down to turn 6. Now this is tricky because you've got it in high speed and then you've got to drop it down 6, 7, round to turn 8. And then downhill, you've got a long sort of turn 9 where you double back on yourself. And you're coming uphill hard. Uphill right, Pico de Battle, Duck's Beat, turn 10. Come over the crest of the hill, drop down into turn 11. You're now into the 3rd sector. You've got to watch it into this turn here, turn 12. Hit that curve, ride it out to the right-hand side. Go in close left again, round 13. And this is where you can really build up some serious speed here. Oh, he went a bit wide there. I think that's more to do with damp conditions. Hit the DRS over that start-finish line. And a respectable 118, I would say. Although I'm sure he can go faster than that. I don't know, on the intermediates.
Yeah,
I don't know,
tricky.
maybe a 115, 116, I don't know. I think
maybe.
we'll see 116s.
Yeah, possibly. Rob Mulder's about to set a very quick lap. He's just gone fastest in the 2nd sector. This 3rd sector's looking quick as well. And there we go, he goes top with an
118.0. So
that
is fast from Rob Mulder, but we haven't seen the big guns come out yet. And Guido Airshine is still in the pits. Martin Parder Cooper is out. There's Basta Brini's into the pits as well. Seb Bogart is out on track at this moment in time, around sector 2.
Nicky Visser fastest in the 1st sector at the moment. 18.8.
You can see the car's so twitchy.
Yeah, it's so difficult, especially this track with the the difference in elevation as well. Coupled with the slippery surface.
That was the other thing I was going to say, because it is a very, very undulating track. I mean, I think the only piece of track that is actually on a level plane is between the exit of turn 3 coming down to turn 4. I think that is the only area on this track that's actually level.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. Seb Bogart, by the way, he's just gone
Oh,
P3.
dearie me. And that looks to me like that was John Donkel. Yep, John Donkel on the side of the barriers there. He has crashed out. And that was on just on turn 15. So he clearly lost it round 14 and then couldn't get back control. Ended up on the left-hand side of the track on turn 15. So John Donkel in the Force India is out.
Yeah, he didn't quite manage to do a Max Verstappen. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago. It was similar conditions as well. Verstappen was coming out of the final turn and was just about to lose control of the car and managed to just grab it just at the last minute and regain grip with the rear tyres. Has absolutely phenomenal control. Didn't see that there from John Donker, unfortunately.
I can't select Rob Mulder at the moment, which is interesting. I know he's in the pits, but I just can't even select. Oh, I can now. That's
odd. Yeah,
I couldn't select him, but now I can. So, yeah, Nicky Visser's still out on track, that 118.0. I don't know, maybe I was being a bit optimistic, 115s, 116s.
Yeah, possibly.
Damie Hartman's out on the... Well, he's got a set of softs on, but is he going out? Yeah, the Ferraris look like they're getting ready to receive one of the cars.
Yeah, it's Seb Bogart's coming in. He's probably coming onto the dry tyres. Bogart's not looking too quick in the wet, I have to say. I know he's only 3 tenths down, but yeah, not his usual pace. Yeah, no, comparatively.
Not. So just turn my media down so don't hear too much beeping.
Max Verstappen's first to go out. No, sorry, Peter Phillips first to go out on the dry tyres. Gone for the super softs here.
Well, okay, that's interesting. Now, is this track starting to dry up a bit?
Yeah, it looks like it's drying up pretty quickly as well.
So the rain has seemed to have stopped, and that's really interesting. And Marco Pullen clearly having connection issues, that's why we haven't seen him out as yet. So he's just looks like he's joining back into the session now, so hopefully he'll be able to join in. But this is going to be interesting, because if we start seeing these dry conditions come down, then we're going to see some blinding times And this could really mix it up, because if you don't get out on that track quick enough, you could very easily lose out in this Q2 here, couldn't you?
Yeah, you need to stay on the ball at all times. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. I think Peter Phillips just invalidated his lap on turn 2. I can't tell at the moment, but it looks like he definitely cut the corner there. Also in mode 0 on his ERS. I don't know if he's forgotten to activate that for his hot lap. But yeah, you guys say. Yeah, I mean, it ties in nicely because we're talking about, you know, staying on the ball. All it takes is one lapse of concentration, and you've lost out.
Yeah, and now this is interesting because we've got just under 7 minutes remaining. Clearly, track conditions have dried up. Number of drivers into the pits, and the drivers that are going to want to take advantage of this are going to be certainly the Ferraris, the Sauber, Williams. Well, everybody really, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, there's well, you know, changeable weather like this can really help the sort of lower placed drivers and teams. You know, if they're able to make the most of the opportunity and the faster drivers don't, yeah, that can get them an unexpected high place.
Well, what you quite often see in these instances is that the last man out on track is the man that wins out, and this is often what can happen. You know, it's whoever can get that last lap in perfectly right on the knockings of the session, and they generally tend to do pretty well. So because by that time the track's got a bit more rubber down, the tyres have heated up, the track's heated up. I don't know if that's, well, it certainly will apply. It won't be obviously at its full extent by the end of this queue, but it certainly will apply.
Yeah, certainly. We're just seeing Peter Phillips. He's just gone fastest in the first sector, so at the 17.2, and then went immediately off the track just after turn. And that was turn 4. He went, you know, onto the wild blue yonder.
Mark Stappers
across the fields
at turn 8. He's coming around turn 9 now, so it looks like Mark Stappers went off as well. And
yeah,
quite a few of the drivers. Quite a few of the drivers seem to be going off track and going wide. Now, is that because they're just hitting those little areas of damp, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a combination of that, and also the tyres probably aren't up to temperature. The track temperature is probably much lower than it would be under sort of normal race or qualifying conditions. Yeah, but this rain has just kept the track just that bit too cool for them to get the most out of their tyres. It's taken them sort of by surprise a little bit.
Seb Bogart putting a 1:10.0. Damien Hartman about a second off him with a 1:10.9. Marcel Dronig in the Renault, 1:11.9. Rob Mulder, he's up there, but he's still in the 1:18 marks. Now, this should cool. Obviously, we're expecting to see these drop right down, probably less than 1:10. We might even get to 1:08s, maybe 1:09s. Depending upon how the track conditions go. And there we have it, 1:09.9 from Damien Hartman, as I was saying that. And then Marcel Dronig does a 1:09.6.
Yeah, fantastic lap from the Renault there. Good to see Dronig that high up. He's managed to stay there.
This is definitely one of those situations where you need to get it just right. Now, whoa, this is going to be tight. I'm just trying to think who's going to be the driver that's going to probably win out on this. I'm just trying to look at it now. Oh. And I think Seb Bogart, actually, I think he's called it right. He's coming into the pits now. And I think he's probably, I would suspect he's going to go onto a set of super softs and then come out relatively quickly.
Yeah, he could do. Alternatively, he could call it a day here. He might be safe. It's a bit of a risk. I know he's in P6 at the moment, but he's got a few drivers behind him who have only set wet laps. So it's going to be down to him whether he wants to conserve the tyres and take the risk, or go onto the soft tyre and guarantee not sort of making an embarrassing mistake.
Yeah, he has gone on to the super softs, as I suspected.
Yeah. Okay. sensible. Vast majority
His
of
timing
drivers
is when he's going to come out. He's going to have to come out now. Yeah, I thought that'd have to be quick because he needs to get obviously that lap. And watch Seb Bogart now, because this is going to be a blinding qualifying lap from him. Mark my words, he's timed it perfectly.
His teammate Vesterbreen just gone under 108.7 on the soft tyre.
Yeah, he has. And letting the other drivers pass there. Nicky Visser into the pits. And Marco Pullen's still having issues connecting. I don't think Marco Pullen's going to be able to connect. I think he's this is race over actually, and the other Ferrari's actually stopped on track. He's got to be careful of that. Obviously, could pick up a penalty for that.
Yeah, I see what he's doing.
He is moving, but he is
go.
moving very, very slowly.
Yeah, he's doing what I tend to do, which is sort of stop almost before the corner. I kind of get myself a bit like a rabbit caught in headlights, and just end up not too sure myself whether to keep driving or pull over and let drivers pass. Yeah,
it's a tricky one at times. But Seb Bogart now coming round to finish his opening lap. And this is going to be very interesting indeed. He comes around turn 15 now. Final turn onto that start-finish straight. Let's ride with him now. On board through turn 1. Into the right turn 2. Left turn 3. Centre S's. Exit. Hit the DRS on the right. Coming up to somebody ahead of him now. I don't know who that is. I think that's one of them. Oh, yeah, it's one of the Renaults moves aside there. Yeah. No, it's not only the elevation changes, it's also the camber changes, especially through this section here. It's a real pain, isn't it? Because you can just 1 millimetre of a tyre on the wrong side there, and you can flip rounds and do a 360, no problem.
Yeah, certainly. I've done it many times myself. Not so much a problem with the curbs, the rumble strips on this track, but yeah, as you say, the camber of the track. This corner as well is quite a lot of negative camber on this one.
Definitely, turn 12, major. Yeah, you've got to really be careful in your approach. You think it's an easy turn, but it really isn't. And look at this. This is going to be a blinding time here.
I think you might have called it.
Look at that, 108.0. And I think that is it. I don't think anyone is going to beat that. And perfectly timed. Oh, and Rob Mulder does. Look at that. Rob Mulder does a 108.6.
Wow. Wow, that's that's impressive.
108.646, and Vesterbreen did a 108.692. Oh, dearie me, big collision there between Peter Phillips and I think.
and
dear. And the Sauber.
Oh,
Nicky just gone straight into him. That was Guido Ershine. Is it Guido Ershine or Marcel Dronig?
I think this is the glitch. This is the AI not controlling the cars properly after the flag. I think that's all it is. I hope it is, because Bogart's retired.
How is this going to affect Q3 though?
I don't think it will. I think once you cross the line to complete your last lap after the time is expired, I think that is it, regardless of what happens to your car after that point.
But we still have cars out on track and time still to run.
Yeah, we do indeed. We do indeed. Just waiting for, I think Marcel France has run out of fuel.
So I don't know how that's going to play. It is a game glitch, which is not a pleasant one, I must admit.
No, it's not.
So hopefully that won't affect the situation into Q3. We will see.
I'm slightly concerned that Seb Bogart. I know he crashed after he completed his final lap after the time was expired, but the game has put him in P9. I wonder if it's actually registered him as a DNF in this session. If it has, he will not be able to participate in Q3.
He won't. And Stan Dromkov comes third in the session.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what Codemasters decide to do here.
I think we might be restarting. I don't know, but I've got a sneaking suspicion because I don't normally get that screen come up when I'm going between. Yeah, it has put Seb Bogart down in P9. Well, that's no big shake because he's got through to the session. It does look like everybody's through. There are no DNFs, so row 6 will be Peter Phillips in the Red Bull. Alongside him his teammate Martin Parder-Cooper in 12. P13, row 7, Mark Stappers in the McLaren. Alongside him will be John Donkel in the Force India. So although we did have a game glitch there, I think it has still... No, it has kicked out a number of drivers. Look at this, we've only got 8 drivers. And Seb Bogart is not one of them.
Yeah. So, that's interesting.
Just trying to think who else there was actually.
I don't know exactly how much time there was left in the session when Bogart crossed the line to complete his lap. If there was remaining,
there was still time remaining.
Yeah,
there was still time remaining. There were a few seconds remaining, but he didn't crash until he got through after turn 3. So he crashed after turn 3.
Yeah, but he was on a hot lap. Well, yeah, he was on a valid lap, wasn't he? Even though the time had expired, he was able to do that one more lap, which is why the game's DNF'd him.
Oh, the joys of Codemasters. We love you so much. It'd be so nice to have a game that was glitch free. Because this really now has mixed it up. I mean, we've got 8 now going through here. I mean, Seb Bogart will clearly start, because this is what I don't get. He was actually in P8, but he's not. There's only 8 drivers here, so he was disqualified. So this will not go down well with Ferrari. But Basta Breen is going to have to hold it now. The interesting thing is obviously we've got blazing sunshine again.
Yeah, so talk about changeable weather. We're going from one extreme to the other here. I won't be surprised if we see some hail at some point.
I was expecting snow, actually.
Breen and Drogan first cars out to set their hot laps.
Yeah, so Peter Phillips, Seb Bogart and Rob Mulder all crashed out because apparently their AI took control and they couldn't do anything. So they were totally just passengers in their vehicles.
Yeah.
As they went over the line and that was it. So the AI took them out. So they're not happy bunnies. So it was Rob Mulderink. I keep forgetting Mulderink. We had that change done. So Rob Mulderink very disappointed there. I'm sure the Williams driver equally, I'm sure, very disappointed is going to be Seb Bogart. But, you know, it does give them the option. I mean, now this is the other thing here is as well, are they going to be able to choose their tyres?
Yes. Yeah, they'll be entitled to... oh, yes, they will. Yes, they will, because they destroyed the tyres. So, yeah, they'll have full choice of tyres, even though they're starting P9 and 10.
Okay. So, at the moment, Guido Airshine setting the provisional fastest time. Nicky Visser just took that away from him with a 108.5.
De Breen's going to go top.
Yeah, De Breen goes with a 108.0. So, Bass De Breen. And another wonderful glitch. I'm showing him as being on super softs, but on his car it looks like they're softs.
They're on form today, aren't they, Codemasters?
They are. They really are on form. If you're watching Codemasters, we really love you so much when you do this. And I know the programmers are going to be sitting there going, well, it's not our fault, it's just, you know. And I do, guys, don't get me wrong, I do sympathise, but please try and look at it from our point of view. It's like every week, it's like, you know, it's the Easter eggs, I think, in F1 are the glitches, basically, because you always find an Easter egg more or less every week.
Well, that's the thing with Easter eggs. They're meant to be difficult to find, but you seem to stumble across them
these
every,
are all too easy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh.
So please, Codemasters, just give us something that's fixed, that's solid. It's not too much to ask. So there we have it. At this moment in time, everyone's set a time, and Basta Breen, he's sitting on that front row. Nicky Visser, unsurprisingly, sitting alongside him. Visser's been very very tough this season. Guido Airshine equally. I mean, Guido Airshine has always done pretty well, certainly in the qualification in the sort of the last third of this season. He's always been pretty much up there, hasn't he, in the top 5? His problem is converting that actually into race pace, isn't it?
Yeah, as you say, he's been really good in quali. He seems to have found his form lately. I'm hoping he can do pretty well in this race. I mean, I'm eyeing him up for a podium. So yeah, okay. We'll see.
Now we normally play a game of who do we think is going to be on pole. I'm not in a very playful mood tonight, Adrian, I have to say. But that said, you know, it's come to be an expected part of the evening. So far be it from me to detract that from our wonderful viewers. So I'll go first, and I'm going to go with Nicky Visser, actually.
Okay. I honestly thought you were going to say Baz, but yeah, no, it's going to be a good shout with Visser. Yeah, he's showing really good pace in Q1, especially. I think it was. Yeah, no, it could be a good call. Is it too late to go for Seb Bogart? Oh no, yeah, I think it is because he's not here.
I think it might be, Adrian. Call me a cynic, but I think it might be.
I'm gonna have to go with his Ferrari friend Baz Breen for pole position.
We are looking at 2 Ferrari engine cars at least.
Yeah. Something worth noting, I don't know if you're probably going to do it at some point, but Seb Bogart can actually win the championship at this race.
Adrian, I'll leave that entirely to you, my friend, because my brain is not functioning.
No, that's fair enough. If Bogart finishes 8th or above, that is it. He is the champion, regardless of where anyone else, including his teammate in second, Baz Breen, finishes. So 8th or above, and Bogart is the champion.
Well,
I think this would be his
second. Well, one race remaining post this one, which is Abu Dhabi. So not unusual for it to be decided here at Brazil. And I know that we have had in previous seasons. The teammates of Seb Bogart and Baz Breen win the championship and come second here at Brazil at this very famous track. But yet again, it's going to be the decider. But it's certainly going to be not easy for Seb Bogart, is it? I mean, it hasn't made it easy for him.
No, it hasn't. But you could say the pressure is off him, and you know, as I said, he's only got to get 8th. I'm sure he would have loved to have won the championship on a win, and you know that's not out of the question either. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Bogart plays this one. Whether he does sort of cruise to sort of a mid-table finish, P5 or P6, and claim the championship. Or whether he goes all out to grab the win, do it in style.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, both Baz and Seb are very competent drivers on this track, and as I said, they have won the championship here themselves. But I've got to recall, and I think I'm pretty sure it was season 2, soon after I started commentating for F1 Tonight, I actually commentated on a race here at Brazil, and it was pretty much the decider. It was actually the championship was to be decided between the Ferrari teammates, of De Bruyne and Bogart. And I've got to be honest, I think if I remember correctly, I was under the impression that, you know, maybe De Bruyne might assist his teammate to, you know, to come in and get the championship. Nothing of it at all. No team orders at all. No cooperation at all. It was absolute fighting right to the end, and it was a mixed condition race as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And yeah, that to me immediately sent me the message of these two drivers. They may be on the same team. Oh, dearie me!
Oh, Williamson.
That was close. Boy, Williamson loses it there. As he was coming round turn 10. And that's good. You've got to be careful there. It's when you lay down that power. Exiting 10 and coming round 11. You've got to be careful. Too much power and you spin out. And that's basically what happened to him. But yeah, there was no love lost between them. Great teammates. Certainly great drivers, the two of them. And it's going to be interesting for season 5 because they will no longer be a pair.
Yeah, I quite like this about about this league is that, you know, the drivers kind of chop and change their teammates each season, and yeah, that's it'd be interesting to see how the next one pans out. I've got my eye on Renault for next season, which off the top of my head was the Baz de Bruyne and John Donkel.
Yes.
I think they might. Yeah, I think they might grab it. I can't remember who the sort of champion-elect said Bogart is they're going to be teammates with next season. I don't know if you've got that information to hand. If you haven't, not a problem.
I think it was Marco Pullen. I'm not too sure. I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I do have it, but I don't have it to hand. If you check it, your WhatsApp, I think I sent you Peter. I don't know where the hell it is.
I'll grab it.
I could get up and go and have a look, but I really can't be bothered to move.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Let's concentrate on the action.
Yeah,
there's a minute left.
Definitely. Well, we've got a minute left here. And Baz de Bruyne, he's heading up that front row. Nicky Visser is alongside him. Damie Hartman, he's in that second row P3. Guido Airshine, second row P4. Stan Drumkov in a Mercedes. Well, he's again, he has performed pretty well during qualifying, but he just again cannot or hasn't been able so far to deliver during the race. But season 1 for him, so first season here for him, so he's showing some good speed at least. And then Boy Williamson in the Haas, he's row 3 P6 at this moment in time. Marcel Dronig in the Renault coming into the pits, he's P7 row 4, and Marcel France in the Toro Rosso just coming round the sector 2 now into turn. Oh, going very wide round there, dropping round 8 down round 9 now, then uphill.
Doesn't look like we're going to see any sort of last minute surprises. Drivers all doing slower laps than their best on their final lap.
No, I think that's pretty much it really. I think that has decided it. I'm a bit disappointed. I was hoping that Nicky Visser might get into that P1 position, but Baz de Bruyne does claim it. They're all on the super softs, so that's what we're going to be seeing. We'll run through the drivers once we get through this end of this session, and we'll see where our wonderful glitch has left us. And look at that, Baz de Bruyne setting the fastest lap there, right on the knockings, 107.955.
Oh well,
so breaks that 108 mark.
Didn't even need to. But,
no, he didn't.
Just proving that you can.
Just goes to show that, yeah, just saying, look, you know, I didn't need to, but I did anyway.
Looks like it could be quite a close battle for the front and perhaps the opening laps with Baz de Bruyne and Nicky Visser so close.
It is going to be very interesting, but we've seen Nicky up here before. It's all a question of how it pans out for him. He's been a bit unfortunate in a few of the races with incidents, but he's always maintained. I think if he can stay in that top 3 or 4 for the first few laps, I think he's going to stand a good chance. But if he drops back, that's what's happened to him in previous races. He's just had issues or collisions or, you know, on track situations that have just put him back, and he's always fought back, but never been able to fully recuperate, really.
Yeah, he's been quite unlucky in a number of races. His bad luck doesn't seem to end. Let's hope it ends here.
Well, let's hope so. It'll certainly be interesting to stretch out a bit more and make the Ferrari team work a little bit harder for it. Now, we do have clear conditions, it looks like, for the start of this race. I can see some big old clouds in the background there, but that's nothing unusual at this track. And I would say now that even though we're starting with clear conditions, I would be very surprised if we actually have clear conditions for the whole of the race. I've got to be honest.
Yeah,
I've never done a race here where it's been clear all the way through.
No, me neither. Me neither. Not once. Well, not on the new generation of Formula One games. But yeah, I mean, like you say, bright sunshine right now, but it almost certainly won't be by the end.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting, and the drivers all getting readied up now. And once they are, we'll get onto the processional lap. So Adrian, obviously, you know, bit of a mix here. So Bastabreen and Nicky Visser in that front row. They've got Guido Airshine and Damie Hartman there in the second row. This has mixed it up a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, you've got a couple of drivers out of position. As you said, Bogard and Molderink, sorry, P9 and 10, just showing that fifth row. You got, yeah, I mean, John Donkel as well, Marco Pullen, 13th and 14th. They're expected to sort of finish race in better positions than they start.
It's going to be an interesting one. So we're on board with Bastabreen now. He's our P1. First row, alongside him will be Nicky Visser in the Sauber. Row 2, Damie Hartman in the Haas. Alongside him, Guido Airshine in the Renault. Row 3, Stan Drumkov in the Mercedes. Alongside him will be Boy Williamson in the Haas. Then we have row 4, Marcel Dronig. Alongside him, Marcel France in the Toro Rosso. Then we have out of place Seb Bogart, row 5, P9. Alongside him, as we said, Rob Molderink in the Williams. Then row 6, Martin Parder-Cooper in the Red Bull. Alongside him will be Mark Stappers in the McLaren. Big shout out to Mark Stappers, the only driver in this league who races with all assists off and in cockpit view. I mention it in all the races because I just think it's worth a mention. It's a damn tough way to race. And row 7, we have John Donkel in the Force India. Alongside him, Marco Pullen in the Sauber. Row 8, Zander Hermans in the Mercedes. Alongside him, Peter Phillips in the Red Bull. Then Kevin Van Delft will be in row 9. And alongside him will be Miguel Torney in the Force India, bringing up the rear. So they're coming up to the line now. Miguel Torney will be the last man to get in on his grid. Now, where do we expect incidents? We're certainly going to expect them into this turns 2 and 3, and I would suspect probably as we get round the second sector, around turns 6 to 11.
Yep.
So there we have it. They're off now for the start of this race. And they're coming down now. Look at this. Bastabreen stays ahead. Oh, dearie me.
Bogart's out. Bogart's out.
Bogart is out.
The champion's out. Or the champion-elect is out, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I saw the... God, yeah, Bogart is out. Dearie me. Sorry, I didn't even change the menu there. I did see a Haas going right off the track there, so I was a little bit surprised by that. I think that was Damie Hartman. And he went right off, and there must have been a collision there with Bogart as well, because they were alongside each other, so clearly they were pushing each other, and that led to that collision, and that means that Bogart is out. Well, there you go, anything can happen, and it just has. So Bogart will be winning the championship here at Brazil today.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I've never seen Bogart retire from a race. We've just seen it within 3 seconds of the start of one, in a race where he could have won the championship. He's going to have to do it on the final race now if he is going to do it at all.
Well, Abu Dhabi is the place to do it. and that will be next week, so we're going to have to wait until then, but anything can happen. And I'm surprised actually that there were so few incidents. Martin Parder-Cooper's dropped down 1 from 10, but Damie Hartman, look at that, Damie Hartman's dropped down 10 places. Now moved up 9, and there was clearly a collision between, I think, Damie Hartman and Seb Bogart there. So we'll see how that pans out. Peter Phillips moved up 3, Miguel Tawney in the pits. Martin Parder-Cooper, he's having some severe damage repaired there on his front nose. He's back out now, and he's gone onto a set of mediums. Now this is going to be interesting because now, obviously, this could make quite a difference now.
Yeah, it can do. We're going to see some early strategy calls. There's people repairing damage and things, and to just change up their ideas. Just see Mark Stappers just go off at turn 4, but I'm not sure if he's struggling for grip. It might be the dirty air of John Donker in front of him. Can't see any damage.
Kevin Van Delft right in behind him. I can't see any damage on his car. That's not to say that there isn't any. He's got Kevin. Oh, big lock up round 12 there. Big
lock up. Yeah, that was that negative camber we were talking about. Just caught him out on the inside tyre.
I'm going to have to back off a little because my voice is really starting to go now.
No worries. Rob Mouldering just at the back of this little train there for this battle for P4. Paul Williamson and Russell Droning just ahead of him. All on the same tyres actually. A lot of them running the soft tyre. Let's have a look at the tyre choices. Yeah, top 4 on the soft tyre. Also Droning, the front runner on the super softs. Looked like he's possibly eyeing up a move on Boy Williamson under DRS perhaps and start finish. Only a short start finish straight.
Not much time to do. On the back of him as well, though, isn't
he? He has as well. Yeah, certainly. All going to depend on what sort of exit each of the drivers get here. Oh, not a great one from Mouldering.
Goes very wide there.
Yeah.
Not a great exit into turn 13. Well, exit at 12, entry into 13.
DRS activated for Droning. Well, Williamson's very high on the ERS management. He's got plenty of energy in the car at the moment to defend against Droning.
Sorry, I was just watching Rob Mouldering making the move. Yeah, he does. Gets past the Renault, and Marcel Droning moves up into 5th place.
Yeah, good move. Good move, Mouldering. Also put Droning under a bit of pressure now from Marcel France behind him, and also we saw this in the synergy race actually. When drivers get overtaken, they tend to lose their concentration a little bit because they're panicking, well, not so much panicking, but just trying that bit harder to gain the place back. What drivers need to do is try and keep it calm and take the place sort of naturally as the race progresses, trying not to think about losing that position. Oh, yellow flag sector 3. I'm not sure who that's for. Oh, no, yeah, that is sure that was Marcel France losing it on the final turn. Went very, very wide. Don't quite know if he spun the car. I don't think he did.
He's now got he's gone on the dirty side of the track again on the rough there, and he's got Kevin Van Delft all over the back of him. This is going to be interesting to see here. Kevin Van Delft as they're coming down through the centre S's, and this McLaren driver seems to be coming pretty much alive here. He's driving very well this evening.
He is driving well. He's he's made some good moves on track. Get himself up to P10. Slightly lucky with the start, I could say. He's running underfueled, I've noticed. He's the only driver out there with.
And the Haas just goes straight past him there, Damie Hartman.
Was it?
But I think that was a braking. No, I think that was just braking. I think Damie Hartman just was a lot faster into those sectors, and that's not unusual because you can actually go into that turn 7 quite high speed. Well, it's round 6 and 7. You can go very high speed around there, but you've got to get the line.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be confident to do it right in the first place, especially under race
Oh, dearie
circumstances.
me! And that was Peter Phillips.
Oh,
Was that Peter Phillips?
that was
Yeah,
Peter
Peter
Phillips.
Phillips
Good,
going
yeah,
off
good
at turn
spot.
12.
Yeah, good spot.
He is back on the track.
We've seen a few drivers go off there now, haven't we?
Yeah,
it's obviously that.
It can be a tricky turn. You think you've got it. You think you've got the measure of it, but you just approach that a little bit too hot.
Yeah.
Get the braking wrong, and that's it.
Yeah, no, quite right. Boy, Williamson just he sort of half went for a move on Guido Oeschan for P3 just now, but backed out at the last second. I don't know whether there was going to be contact there. I sort of cut to it quite late. But yeah, he's definitely got that Renault in his sights. Renault's got plenty more ERS than the Haas. Might make it difficult to overtake. Yeah, he's pulling away now slightly.
Well, this is certainly looking more interesting now.
Damien Hartman's just put in his personal fastest lap, not the fastest lap of the race, but he's showing some good pace to try and make up those positions after that dreadful start. Oh, and Van Delft. Van Delft spun. He's just lost. He's lost 3 or 4 places there now, down into.
And that was
P14.
turn 12 again, wasn't it?
Turn 12. That was turn 12 again.
Yeah, it was turn 12.
Yeah, just that corner. Some of the drivers seem to be struggling. I don't know if there's something down there on the track.
Oh well, I don't know. It's just it can be a tricky turn. You know, you sometimes don't get. You just can't figure out why it's doing it.
Yeah, and it's partly psychological as well, isn't it? If you've gone off there once already, you're that extra bit wary of it, and in doing so, you might do something different that you don't normally do, and then go off again, and it can frustrate drivers. Yeah,
because you try and compensate, obviously, for the error that you've made, but then you make a bigger error and go off even bigger.
Yeah, John Donkel, sorry, for battling for P6 with another Renault. Look, Marcel Dronig almost going off as well, same corner. And he just loses a bit of time, and Donker's going to make the pass.
Yeah, Donker makes the pass, but remember, Dronig will have the DRS.
He will. He's got hardly any ERS though to stay on the back of the Force India. John Donker just
already
retired
starting to pull away from him, isn't
he? Yeah, he's just got so much more ERS, and he's in mode 5. He's not mucking about now. He's going to try and make as much time on the Renault Marcel Dronig as he can.
And you said there Stan Junkov is DNF'd, so both the Mercedes now out, Stan Junkov and Zander Hermans. Shame, as I say. I mean, you know, these guys are new to the league, so it's not unsurprising. But they're showing good form. Certainly, Stan Junkov in qualification. All he needs to do is just convert that into race pace.
Yeah. Well, we thought it is. We thought he was going to do it, didn't we? At the previous race, he was looking so quick, and you know, for a long time it looked like he was going to grab some decent points, but no, just a couple of mistakes quite late on. As far as I remember, it might have been the halfway point in the race actually.
Yeah, it
lost a few positions, and just knocked his confidence so much.
Great shame, but drivers to certainly watch in the forthcoming season 5, so we'll keep an eye on that. But
it's
about
pretty much P2. Sorry, battle for P2. Guido Oeschan just past Visser. Visser's gone very wide as well.
He has majorly wide out of 4 into 5, coming around 6 and 7 now. But look at that, it's that Haas as well is on the back of Visser.
Yeah, and Williams as well. It's a train of 4 of them.
So was that an error
P2
by Visser, or?
It did look like it. Yeah, it did look like it. I think Guido pressured him.
Look at that, and boy, Williamson trying to get up on the inside of Rob Mouldering there. That was interesting. Yep. And he does. He makes the move, gets ahead of him.
Yeah, he's done it.
So interesting little scrap there, but now, as you say, Guido Oeschan's now moved up into 2nd place.
Yeah, deserved of that position. I feel. I just wonder what his pace is like now against the Ferrari ahead of him, Breen. P2 in the championship, of course.
Ooh, he's going wide, but look at that. I mean, Ershine has used a hell of a lot of his ERS. And
yeah, he's got nothing. He's got nothing left, has he?
That Sauber is looking as if he's going to be able to chase him down now.
Yeah, and that's it. And all the while, Breen is going to be smiling.
Nicky Visser is going to be very happy that I say this because I can't see his full ERS because of the size of his helmet. But it looks to me like he's got. Yeah, he has. He's got practically looks like about 70 or 80%.
It's 86% I'm seeing on the telemetry, compared to 37 for Ershine.
Ershine, yeah. So that is going to be interesting because Ershine, I don't think has the straight line speed to get ahead of that Sauber. Unfortunately, I really don't think he has it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, Ershine's mode 4 at the moment, and not really putting away. He just hasn't got the oomph in the battery. Meanwhile, Breen is comfortably managing his ERS, and he's probably quite happy that the drivers behind him are all scrapping for that P2, because it means they're not catching him.
There's definitely a fight here for, from 2 down to 5. Obviously, Guido Ershine made that move on the Sauber and Nicky Visser. Visser's staying third, but Boy Williamson is in the mix as well, as is Rob Muldering, and Kevin Van Delft picking up a penalty there by the looks of it. So these 4 drivers, I mean, they're all within 3 or 4 tenths of each other. So this could get very interesting or very messy or both.
Yeah, no, indeed. I feel at this stage, I think Ershine might be holding up the drivers behind him slightly, purely for the fact that he's refusing to tone down the ERS, and it's draining his battery so much. He's probably not going as fast as he would be if he was in, say, mode 1, for example. And the drivers behind him are saving their battery up because of the slower pace, and it looks like this may make the move quite easily, I'd have thought, given the ERS difference.
Well, he's now got him as they're coming down to the centre S's. He's got the inside line, he's got the advantage. Yeah, takes the place back. That was a pretty straightforward move, to be fair, but now Ershine has to watch out for Boy Williamson and Rob Muldering coming down behind him now.
He does, and not only that, he's just got a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well, on top of losing the position. It's it's that type of thing that can unsettle the driver, and no, it's really not.
You can see he's clearly holding up those cars behind him.
Yeah, he's toned down the ERS now, so yeah, we might see him get back into his rhythm, should we say?
Yeah, because it's ERS is a double-edged sword, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, on one side you want to use as much of it as you can, as fast as you can, to get as much time on the driver behind and indeed the one in front. But when you're trying to defend, there almost is no right answer, is there? Because if you try and use too much, you'll go slower, and if you turn it down, you'll go slower. So you have to do your best to manage it well enough before you're ahead of that car, so that when you are in front of them, you can then be in control. Like we often see from the Ferraris, actually are quite good at managing their ERS, so that when it comes to actually needing the ERS to make the move, they've got it there in buckets because they managed to control it.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, my viewpoint on the ERS is you shouldn't. How can I put it? You've got the DRS to make the moves on the cars that are ahead of you. That's what the DRS is for. The ERS is very, very strategic. It really is. And to a degree, I almost think as if, the less you use it, the less you come to rely on it. And therefore you're able to use it better. Yeah,
absolutely. One other sort of side effect of using less of the ERS is the tyre wear. You're able to go considerably longer on the tyres, especially the rear tyres, by going in the lower ERS modes, because it's just not putting as much power down and not wearing them out as fast. So while your lap times may be slower, yeah, you've got more options in terms of your strategy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has, as I say, it is an interesting one. Those who master it, I think, you know, laughing their socks off. Those who struggle with it, you know, you've got to learn how to use it. You really do, and it is one of those things where you want to use it sparingly or very strategically, really.
Yeah, as you say, it's one of those things. If you get it just right, yeah, you'll be well away. It's such a big part of real life F1.
Oh, look at this!
Moldering.
Rob Moldering takes
with
the dive.
With the dive.
Lovely little job round turn 10 there. Was that turn 10?
How tidy was that?
8?
That was turn 8.
That was fantastic.
Oh no, it was turn 10. Yeah, sorry.
Turn 10, yeah. Big of the bad, the uphill almost hairpin there. And fantastic move there from Rob Moldering. Really took the measure of Boy Williamson there and convincingly took him on that corner. Very nice move.
He looks like he's going to take the move, take P3 as well.
Guido Airshine as well, yeah, he is.
He's flying now, isn't he? He's had enough of being at the back of this train.
Yeah, Rob Moldering in the Williams now makes the move. And, well, very nice indeed. Within 7 turns, takes 2 places.
Yeah, really well played. He did exactly what we were just talking about. Managed the ERS so well. Was up to 90, 100%, and then just turned it right up and full of confidence, and just made the move on Boy Williamson. Sorry,
certainly a brave move out of 10. I mean, he just lined it up beautifully. Though you could see the back axle of Damie Hartman there, and he just lined it up beautifully. And just sorry, not Damie Hartman, Boy Williamson. And just lovely little line straight past him. Lovely move.
Yeah. I mean, how tidy was that? It was unreal.
Yeah.
Not a move I would have gone for.
It could have been very messy on that corner, but he made it look very easy.
Yeah, brilliant. Great stuff.
So we haven't discussed strategies yet. Mediums obviously do come into play here, I think, at this track. And we're on lap 16 of 71. So we're roughly, not quite, but we're approaching, I guess, a third of the way through. I mean, we've seen a number of the drivers obviously on the softs. They started, the majority of the drivers, they're on 15 lap hold. We've got super softs with Marco Pullen, Peter Phillips.
Sorry to interrupt you. Boy Williamson's just retired. He's just retired coming out of 3. Yeah.
He's crashed out. He lost it. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if I can get onto him, but
it looks like it was. It seems like fairly quite far up the straight out of turn 3. I don't know whether he was sort of fishtailing or something up that straight, or just started to make his turn too early.
I think he probably lost it out of 2, tried to recover it out into 3, and then just went off and into the barrier. So that's a shame. Boy Williamson in the Haas is out. So, right, okay, that really has mixed it up. We've seen Boy Williamson go out. We've seen Seb Bogart go out early. We've seen both the Mercedes go out, and this track does claim quite a few victims. Nothing unusual there to see a third sometimes of the drivers gone. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see by the close of this race. But as I was saying, we're almost a third of the way through, coming up to the third mark. We've got drivers on 16 lap old softs and super softs. We've got Martin Pardicu, who's clearly looking to go deep on those mediums, and I would suspect he should be able to go into sort of I would suspect around about 30 laps, so approaching halfway. The question is these super softs and these softs. Now, the track, it can be quite a hard track. It does depend how you take it, but I mean, how deep do you think we can go? I mean, I'm looking at these super softs and I'm thinking, well, maybe they can go into the low 20s. The softs maybe the mid 20s. 30 maybe. And the medium should be able to go deep. I mean, medium should be able to go 35, maybe even 40 laps.
Yeah, I mean, typically you should be able to do half race distance on the hardest tyre. Sorry, during all that as well, I don't know if you saw Kevin Van Delft retired. I don't know where he retired on track. I did see a yellow flag, so it wasn't sort of come into the pit and quit. It was possibly a mistake on the circuit. Don't know
On the
where it
track.
was, but
Yeah.
he himself was only on 5-lap-old supers, so yeah, they should be in their prime. Those tyres.
But look at
Yeah,
this,
I
Marcel
think
Dronic's dropped right back. He's gone to those super softs. He's dropped right back to P10, but not unusual. We see obviously always an aggressive strategy from the Renault driver. He always prefers to go onto those softer tyres and do the more pits. But I've got to be honest with you, I don't think it pays off for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me personally, it can depend on the track. There are some tracks that do favour more stops and higher fuel loads, and really sort of aggressive strategies. But then there are some that that require you to sort of manage your tyres a lot better. Belgium's a good example of that. This one here, for me, I would go very low fuel and probably go for the softer compounds. Just because of the nature of these sweeping corners here.
Well, interesting. Guido Airshine's still in the shout there. I mean, he's still chasing down Nicky Visser. There are on equally old softs, as is Rob Mulder, Rob Mulderink and Bastabreen ahead. Bastabreen, though, he's not as far ahead as I expected him to be at this stage, funnily enough. I mean, we're lap 19. He is 6.2 seconds ahead of Mulderink, but I would have expected that gap to be a bit more there. That's quite interesting, actually.
Sorry, the gap between him and Breton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mulderink started this race, if you remember, he started in P10. Managed to fight his way back up to a valid P2. He's not P2 because of pit stops. He's actually P2 on track. So yeah, I mean he's definitely showing a lot of pace there. It's really well to get within just 6 seconds of Breen.
And Nicky Visser picks up a 3-second time penalty, but he's not the only one. Interestingly enough, John Donkel has also moved up 8 places from 13. And Peter Phillips as well in P8 started P16. So 3 drivers there actually moved up 8 places, but clearly the one that is winning out is Rob Mulderink. Now the drivers are all starting to come in by the looks of it, so we're starting to see the first stops coming in. These are the super soft runners. So the super soft runners are coming in on sort of 18, 19 laps, it looks like. Peter Phillips is still out. Where is he? Yeah, he's just coming around turn 5 now. So the super soft runners are starting to come in. That would suggest to me that the soft runners are probably going to be going that little bit deeper, probably high 20s, maybe even to low 30s.
Yeah, you could be right with that assumption. I'm not surprised actually. Pete Phillips has decided to stay out. He's actually setting quite fast lap times. They're sort of on par with John Donkel's, just a couple of places ahead of him on the soft tyres. So I think they're at that point where, or that's kind of that pivot point where they're kind of matching the soft tyres for pace. He'll want to come in within a couple of laps or so. May even come in this lap, to be fair. And yes, in he comes.
Yeah, in he comes indeed. So that is the super soft runners now coming in. And now this is going to be interesting, certainly, for when we see these guys coming in here. I mean, Bastabreen has pulled out a little bit more. He is more or less knocking on 7 seconds. So he's eked about another 2 or 3 tenths ahead of Rob Mulderink, but that's not going to help him from those pits. So it's going to be a bit of a question as to how this is going to pan out and where they come out as well. Because the other thing is, yeah, he can pit and still come out ahead of him, but it's where does he come out? How long does he get his tyres to heat up? Does he hit any back markers to slow him down? All these factors come into play, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and every one of those is going to help Mulderink. I'm wondering now actually if Muldering is perhaps going to try the undercut on De Bruyne, or or react to his pit stop and deliberately go for the overcut if he does come in early.
I've got a sneaking suspicion. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, it's always tempting to go for the undercut, and we certainly have seen it pay out in a few other races. My only concern here is who you're doing the undercut against, which is Bas de Bruyne. And personally, I would say you're better off waiting for him.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, because Bas de Bruyne can really throw you some wrong signals at times, and you think, yes, I've got him now, and then he's proven time and time again that actually he's not going to do anything of what you thought he was going to do.
No, and part of that comes down to his good ERS management, because he'll look like he's sort of going slow, or he'll look like his tyres are wearing out and could be due a pit stop. So you go to undercut him, and he's actually got sort of 3 or 4 laps left in the tyres and bundles of ERS, so he cranks that right up when you when you come in. Does hit all his hot laps in that time when you're not behind him, and then by the time he's come in, he's come out in front of you, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, that's not how that's not
supposed to work. No, I agree with you. So, I mean, in this particular case, it does obviously depend upon the driver. If I was Rob here, I'd be looking to match De Bruyne and stay with him as much as you possibly can, and even once he comes in, if you can, I'd want to stretch it out about another couple of laps at least, just to see, just to try and eke out as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. So you'd run or try and run the overcut on De Bruyne.
Yeah, definitely. And I try and do a convincing overcut as well. I mean, obviously it depends on the tyres. Yeah. But I would want to go at least a couple of laps on that overcut.
Yeah, that could be a good shout. Wait to see what actually happens between those two drivers. Meanwhile, by the way, Damien Hartman's flying since he come out of the pit on his shiny new Super Softs. He's just set fastest lap of the race on the previous lap. It's gained 2 places since he come out. He's just picking off drivers left and right. He's about to do another one.
Nearly into the back of Stappers there.
Contact.
Nearly contact with Stappers there, but he is all over him like a bad rash and very easily passed him. Well, Stappers is obviously trying to defend, but Hartman's on a push here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's absolutely going for it, and as we said, didn't have the best of starts, mixed up in all the commotion, in the first couple of corners, and he's done well to come back to P6. Quite a long left to go in this race,
though.
Yeah, I think much of that might have been spent behind Stappers. I saw him in mode 4 for quite a lot. I would have been in mode 1 myself, and then up to 4 when you're certain of making the move. But drivers can get impatient sometimes.
Oh no, surely not. I can't believe
that. Not me, but
Yeah, no,
I've
of course
seen it
not. You're of course not. You are the exception to the rule, Adrian.
Yeah. Mr. Chill.
Every driver thinks they're an exception to the rule.
Of course they do.
So, yeah, Hartman clearly moving through the field quite convincingly there. But John Donkel's doing very well. Look at this, he's already up to P5.
Yep.
He's on a fresh set of Super Softs. I think this could be interesting for Donkel. Airshine's in there as well. And these are all the front 4 runners, remember. They're all on those soft tyres, and I expect them to be coming in round about 5 or 6, well, round about lap 30, 32, I would suspect.
Yeah, you'd have thought something around that level. As I said, you could normally do half distance on the medium tyre. Might be a little bit before that, to be honest, on these softs. I've got an interesting fact for you. That last lap that John Donkel just did was faster than Bas de Bruyne.
Wow.
Only difference is Donkel was in mode 5 for the entire lap. De Bruyne was in sort of 2 and 3.
Well, yeah. I should do.
Not take anything away from him.
Not take anything away from him, but he had it turned right up.
He still did it. That's the important thing.
That's like saying I had a street race with a guy, and he did beat me, but then again he had a twin turbo.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's like he beat me. I was in my 300 brake horsepower, whatever, and he had a twin turbo, so he did beat me, even though he's in a Fiat Punto.
Harder Cooper seems to have found his form way back in P13, just at his fastest lap of the race, 14.0. Hopefully
he's going to come into play. He's going to have to come into play on those mediums. I mean, at some stage or another, he's going to have to come into play. I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't come into play just yet with those drivers coming in and going on to, coming off the soft tyres. But that said, they're quite a way ahead of him, and they were on the soft tyres, or the super soft. So I feel confident that he is going to. Those mediums are going to come into play for him, but it's not going to be yet. It's probably going to be towards the last third of this race. I think that we're going to see that strategy coming through.
Yeah, it'll be the latter stages of this race. I wonder actually if Harder Cooper's going for the one stop. Not sure if it is possible at this track. I have to try and remind myself at some point. But yeah, he might be going for the mediums to softs, and just try and eke him out as much as he can.
I suspect it
Which
is
might
possible.
get him into top 10. Yeah, I mean, if he can do it, maybe he can do it. He might be in the top 10. He's going to pass Miguel Tawney as he comes into the pit for the supers.
Tawney is in the pits, so he takes that place at least. So he's moved up into P12. I think it is. I think he is going to go there because look, I mean, Peter Phillips' teammate, interestingly enough, has gone on to the mediums, and he's on 6-lap-old mediums. So he came in on lap 22. So
I wonder if both Red Bull drivers are the only drivers on the medium tyres at the moment. I wonder if perhaps they've done some practice together. Perhaps they've tested
I've got a sneaky suspicion
various
that they
strategies
have.
with the mediums.
I think they have gone on to strategies with the mediums, and it can be a bit of a left field one, but it can work. So I think it's certainly worth keeping an eye on those guys there. Certainly. So I think that will come into play, but I don't think it's going to come into play probably till around about sort of lap 60s. Yep, and Marcel Dronig is in the pits again. So he's off those 13-lap-old super softs, and he's going on to a set of softs now.
Keep an eye on P8, Eddie. Marcel France is looking much quicker than Mark Stappers ahead of him. Being on the super soft tyres versus Stappers' older softs, older and hard tyres.
Stappers can make his tyres last an awful long way. We've seen him. I think I've seen him. I can't remember where it was. I think I saw him. I can't remember which race it was. But he made a set of mediums last 50 laps.
That was Hungary, I think.
Was
off the
it?
Top of my head.
Yeah,
I think it
was just phenomenal. It's just like, when's he going to come in? And he didn't. He just
France has just completely binned it.
Completely loses it. Coming round 14, and he just and straight into the wall. Oh dearie me! So Marcel France is out, and I mean that was very weird. He just drove straight into the wall there, basically.
Yeah, it looked like he just lost traction on the exit of the dreaded. Is it turn 14, the final corner?
Yeah, 14. Yeah,
14. Yeah, he just lost it, and it looked like he gained it back, but sort of overcompensated, fishtailed again, and then swung back to the right, and that was it. That was you do that at 170 miles an hour, and it's there's no coming back from it. Unfortunately,
he ain't gonna win.
No, that's a shame. That's a shame. He was looking really quick
He was looking quick.
in that little battle.
He definitely was looking quick. So another one to add to the list of retirements. Marcel France for Toro Rosso. The latest victim, Kevin Van Delft for McLaren. Boy Williamson for Haas. Stan Drumkov for Mercedes. Zander Hermans for Mercedes. And right at the start of this race, Seb Bogart, championship winner. He could have placed anywhere up to 8th place and won the championship here. But in true Seb Bogart Ferrari style, he thought, nah, I'll take it to Abu Dhabi. I'll just crash out.
Must be so frustrating knowing that all you need is 4 points, and you know you've been winning races left, right, and centre. Only need 4 points to win the championship, and you know, and it doesn't happen.
No, but that is F1.
Yeah, that is.
It has to be said. You know, I see so much synergy. Excuse the pun. No pun intended. If James is listening. But I see so much synergy between the game and the real life events itself.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily in the races themselves, but the results and how things sort of pan out. It is phenomenal. There really is a great deal of communality between the esports and the real world.
Yeah, certainly. And speaking of things, how things pan out, I think we missed the pit stops actually. Bas de Brien and Rob Mulder. It looked like Mulder blinked first. He went in 5 laps to go for his soft tyre, so he was going for the undercut, which you advised against.
I don't think he should have done. But that said, he's all over the back of Bas de Brien at this moment in time because he's just come out on a fresh set of softs. That said, though, De Brien's going to be able to go a lot deeper on those softs, and Mulderink isn't. So, judging by what we've seen... Go on.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, look at De Brien's virtual safety car. I've just seen Harder Cooper parked along the track.
Harder Cooper parked in turn 15.
Yeah, just before that, I was going to say, look at De Brien's ERS. He's completely full.
Yeah.
So he's got himself in that position.
I don't think it really is. I don't... You know, he's got it totally under control. This VSC might muck it up a little bit for him. The only advantage is obviously that Mulder can't overtake him, so it will potentially give De Brien the opportunity to get a bit of heat into those tyres.
Yeah, you're quite right. I think the drivers here just. I'm concerned slightly that the safety car's out for a long time. That was close. There you go, virtual safety car has been deactivated, ERS enabled.
So yeah, I mean he's on 32, but the other thing is here, he's on. Yeah, I just think he called that wrong. I mean, maybe he didn't have much choice. Maybe he had to come in because his tyres just weren't, you know, up to scratch. So he had no choice. It could be that's the strategy that he's gone for. But you know, I don't see him, barring any incident. I don't see him challenging De Brien during the rest of this race.
Well, you say that, but I think that virtual safety car has given him an opportunity now because he's managed to save up that ERS again. He's now all he's got to do is match De Brien for pace. If he can manage his ERS at the same time and do it slightly better than De Brien, I think he can give himself a chance to make the move under DRS. Or I nearly lost it there out of.
I was about to say coming out. Yeah. I'll be brutally honest. I don't think he's going to do it.
Okay. That's the end of that then.
That's the end of that. I don't think he's going to do it. I really don't. No, I think this is again. It's typical De Brien. He knows. You know, this man knows what he's doing. He's not being multiple champion for no reason. Both him and his teammate Seb Bogart, you know, they have dominated this league. And you don't dominate a league, you know, by, you know...
It's not luck, is it?
No, it's not. It really isn't. And he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, rather unusually actually. We're seeing De Brien in mode 5. I'm wondering I could be horribly wrong. I wonder if Rob Mouldering is putting him under increased pressure, forcing him to use a bit more of his ERS than he'd perhaps like to.
I think it's
It's a
certainly
good battle.
possible. I think it's certainly possible. I mean, he doesn't really want Mouldering to overtake him on track, because that could bring in a number of connotations which, you know, it's not worth. He wants to keep him behind. He wants to keep Mouldering behind him on track. That is a
Yes,
definite.
certainly.
That is a
Yeah,
definite.
100%. Yeah, it would totally ruin his strategy if he does manage to get past him. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean, it just adds
heat up
that
his tyres so
element.
much.
Yeah, it just adds that element to his strategy, which, you know, he really doesn't need. So, yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if he, you know, if he uses up the ERS, he might even deplete it totally just to make sure he stays ahead. But he will deplete it in such a manner that Mouldering won't have anything left either. So it's a bit of an on pass, really.
Yeah. So Miguel Torney's just retired sector 2. I'm not sure where.
Bastaprin putting in the fastest lap there, 1:11.0. So still very close between these two guys, but you know, we've still got this race going on here for third and fourth. Guido Airshine is he's in fourth place. He has got John Donkel closing down, and Donkel's really moved through this field, hasn't he? I mean, we haven't paid too much attention to him. You know, he did mention earlier that he'd moved up 8 places, but he's steaming through. I mean, he's still 8 places up. He's got Marco Pullen in the Sauber behind me. He's also moved up 8 places, but he is really pushing this this Renault here of Guido Airshine, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing so well. He's just put him under pressure, Donko and Ershine, forcing him to make a mistake into turn 3. Went off wide. Looked like Donko was going to make the move actually, but couldn't quite pull it off. But yeah, he's all over the back of the Renault. I think you might need to just calm it down a little bit and just you know, be a bit patient and make the move on the start and finish, because otherwise he'll find himself with no ERS left before the end of the lap.
Patience. Is it I don't know. Patience. Are you the sort of person that puts your foot on the throttle when you're sat at a zebra crossing as the person gets over the last bit opposite you? Just keep the car revving a bit.
I think Donko is.
Yeah. Oh, he is so close in behind that Renault. He's really got to watch it in there. But now he could make that move down to turn 4. And indeed,
he's just run out of energy.
Just look at that. It's almost like he put the brakes on there. It was amazing. But he has managed to get ahead of him. He has managed to get ahead of him on the exit of 5. So good job there.
He has done it. He has done it. In fairness, he has done it. But he's exhausted his car, his engine. It's going to be difficult, but not impossible, of course. Difficult to defend along the straights. But yeah, he's put in a little gap. He might have done enough. No, fair play. He's done enough to get past.
Yeah, he's certainly got past. The question is, can he maintain it? And it looks like that Renault is dropping back somewhat. So I don't know. Airshine is on those mediums. Maybe he hasn't got, you know, them sort of fully heated up, or they're not quite reached their optimum performances yet, because he is on the medium, so that can make a hell of a difference, obviously.
Yeah, it can do. Ershine as well, he's decided to just tone down his ERS. I keep mentioning the ERS, but it's such an important
critical part.
It is a critical part of this race strategy.
It's critical if you don't. I mean, you know, I'm always, as I said to you right, you know, earlier on, you know, I'm always of the school of, you know, don't use it, and then when you do use it, make sure, you know, you're using it. You know, so in other words, you only use it maybe 2 or 3 times during a race.
Yeah.
It's almost like a junkie. You get sort of like hooked on that sort of you know, speed and acceleration, and you want it all the time, but you can't have it all the time.
Yeah, no, you have to. You're quite right. You have to be sort of measured in your usage of it. Be intelligent and careful with it. Ershine's actually doing quite well with his ERS management. Doesn't normally, of course, he's sort of did in the last 2 or 3 races. Tends to sort of use it all up to try and get past someone, and then he's got nothing left to defend with. So
yeah,
I mean,
so
he's managing it well here.
Yeah. So remember, people, those drivers who are watching, don't be an ERS junkie.
Well said.
So Marco Pullen, though, he's done too bad as well. He's moved up, I think, 8 places as well. So let's have a quick look here just to confirm that. Yeah, 8 places as well. John Donker's now moved up 9 because he's obviously got past Guido Ershine. Peter Phillips as well. So I mean, this is looking pretty good. Stops. Everyone's done 1 stop. Damie Hartman's done 2. Obviously,
Damie Hartman's in now.
Marcel Dronig also done 2. But then again, that's what we expect of Dronig anyway. Now, Damie Hartman's going on to those mediums. This is lap 39. So he's got 32 laps remaining. Clearly, he's going to go to the end on those now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it for him now. Yeah, just got to manage the tyres. I think, I mean, they should be able to do, what is it, 32, 33 laps, including this one. Should be able to do that pretty comfortably, I think.
Now, we haven't seen any rain, and we commented earlier that this track, this race, always has an element of rain. But we're on lap 40 of 71 and we haven't seen it yet. Now I have seen, I've got to be honest, I have seen literally the rain come in the last 5 or 6 laps. So I'm not sort of saying, you know, it ain't going to happen, because I still think it will.
It doesn't look like it to me at the moment with this sort of blazing sunshine. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it change so quickly, haven't we? We saw it in Q1, I think it was.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it
went from one extreme to the other.
And then 7 minutes later, it was, yeah, definitely raining.
Yeah.
Well, we've got into that stage now. We're on lap 40. 40 of 71. And it's about midway, well, just over midway mark, obviously. And things sort of settled down. We've got a few of the DNFs, which we did expect, and reverse order. We've got Seb Bogart, who went up first, and that was a big surprise. Then we have Zander Hermans from Mercedes. He went out. Stan Drumkov, his teammate in Mercedes. Then Boy Williamson, which was a bit of a surprise as well. Then Kevin Van Delft in McLaren. Marcel France, which we were actually on board for, and that was just devastating, straight into the wall.
Yeah.
Martin Parder Cooper, great shame there, because you know, he had been doing good race, and then finally Miguel Tourney in the Force India.
I think Parder Cooper suffered a similar fate to Marcel Francer. Actually, we saw him parked sort of almost across the start and finish line. I wonder if he was fishtailing out of turn 14.
14, yeah, I think it was. A lot of, you know, a couple of drivers have been caught out by that. So we're with our race leader at this moment in time, Bas de Breen. He's on 10-lap-old softs, and he is, well, a couple of seconds ahead of Rob Mulderink. Now, I was saying that Rob Mulderink was really, he'd lost it, and that was as far as I was concerned. And I've got to say, I'm not changed my opinion. He's on 15-lap-old super softs. Okay, he's 2 seconds behind, but he's still going to have to pit before de Breen.
Yeah, he is going to have to pit. But if he can get far enough on these tyres to, well, to so that he hasn't got to rely on the softs too much, he might be able to sort of race quite aggressively on a set of soft tyres and make up ground on de Breen. But of course, it's advantage de Breen at the moment.
It's advantage de Breen because even if he does that, de Breen's going to come in and go onto a set of super softs anyway to finish the race.
Yeah, it's it's going to be difficult. You might have called this one correctly.
Well, to be fair, it's not a long stretch. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
With these Ferrari drivers, it's not a long stretch to call it.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
But that said, I mean, you know, you can see. I mean, the thing is, there are some very good quality drivers here in the F1 Tonight League, and you know, but they're chasing this Ferrari dominance. But I think it's going to be very interesting for season 5 because there's some really interesting drivers coming through, and as you mentioned earlier, with the team changes as well, real mix of the teams. It's certainly going to add a different element to that season 5.
Yeah, I can't wait for that season, to be honest. Is every driver changing teams? I think they are.
I think so.
I don't see anyone staying. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. The mix-up will do the series good, and yeah, it's going to be pretty unpredictable, I think.
Apologies once again for those of you who are watching. Obviously, I am commentating this evening with Adrian, but I am not at 100% peak performance. So you're not going to get any sudden jerks in your seating position as I shout down the microphone.
You might squeak down the microphone.
I might squeak down the microphone, yeah. I might do a bit of a splutter. But no sudden aggressive noises or movements, that's for sure.
Well, I said it earlier on, Eddie, but yeah, we thoroughly appreciate you being here. You know, even in the condition that you are in.
I've got to be honest, I don't appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I don't appreciate it at all. I'd be quite happy just sitting here watching a bit of TV, but you know, that's just me. Who wants to watch these guys race around the track, honestly?
I know.
Shocking.
Well,
no.
Well, I do anyway.
Well, that's true. At least you do. So, I'm only joking, guys. I'm only joking. I love you all, really. Honest. You prima donnas.
Oh, even
yeah,
Guido.
what is it? What is it with drivers? They're all bloody prima donnas, honestly.
Yeah.
They all think they're the best.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them.
Absolutely.
Whether it's esports or not, they all think they're prima donnas. Oh, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Damien Hartman's gone.
Damien Hartman.
Yep.
Damien Hartman. So both the Hasses are out now. So sector 1.
Down to just 9 drivers.
I mean, was that on turn 3 again? Was that same situation that we've seen? Yeah, and Hartman has left the session.
Yeah, just safety car deployed. That was. I'm trying to see if I can see the remains of his car. Was it coming out of 2? Did he lose it there?
Just
lots of
air shine through
track.
Yeses. Can't see anything there. Now, this is interesting. This could mix things up a bit. Because I just saw somebody sneaking into the pits there.
Yeah, that was Baz Breen. That is very strategic. He's obviously going to go on to,
mediums.
I say obviously, he's on the medium tyres. Yeah, I reckon he could have got away with a soft call.
Yeah, of course, and what you've got to remember is the safety car will sit there at the end of the exit of the pit lane waiting for Debris to come out. So that was an absolutely inspired call by Debris. He is not going to lose anything by that at all.
Yep. Yeah, and meanwhile, Rob Mulder's stuck behind the safety car. It's going to have Debris right behind him any minute now, and yeah, he's going to have to come in. So he might find himself 25 seconds behind him by the end of this race.
Yeah.
Worked out perfectly, hasn't it, for the Ferrari driver?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he couldn't have asked for us. I mean, I don't think he needed the safety car, but I think that safety car has basically sealed the deal.
Yep. Icing on the cake for Debris in there, taking all the pressure off him.
Mulderink is behind the safety car, but surely he can overtake it, can't he?
They have to wait for the signal. I think they'll be able to do it. The lap cars will be able to pass the safety car on the start and finish straight, I believe.
I'm never too sure how this quite works out because it can be a little bit confusing. But that means that Mulderink's going to have to basically do a whole lap to catch up to where he was. Yeah, basically. Yeah, and you can see McLaren coming in there. Stappers. I think that was Dronig in the Renault as well. And Stappers picks up a 5 seconds top go for speeding in the pit lane. Now this is not doing Mouldering any favours at all.
No.
I'm sure he can just drive past him. I'm sure he can.
Well, no, because he's leading the pack now. So yeah, he needs to stay behind the safety car.
Oh right, okay. I thought the safety car was the green.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. The green was past the safety car when he come out of the pit lane, and was able to catch up to the sort of back of the pack, and now he's found himself right behind race leader Rob Mouldering, who's on 20-lap-old super softs. Mouldering really should have come in, regardless of what his strategy was. He should have come in when he saw Debrin come in and when the safety car come out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just put the nail in the coffin, to be fair.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? You've got to be on the ball at all times.
And this is the other thing
to win a race.
You know. Well, yeah, I mean, this is the other thing as well, you know. When you look at F1 drivers, yes, they have to take these things into account when they're on track. But ultimately, they don't... Well, they do have the option to, obviously, not go with what their pit crew says, the infamous Jeff, obviously. But it does show that it does add an extra element to the esports driver, that he really does have to be far more strategic than a real-world driver.
Yeah.
And aware as well.
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. In fact, another driver that's lost out as well massively is Guido Oeschon. He's in P3 on 17-lap-old mediums. There's only 2 drivers that didn't come in the safety car period, and that is Mouldering and Oeschon.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not going to be they're not going to be finishing the race where they are at the moment. That's for sure.
No, that is for sure. But it looks like still one more lap to go, so it doesn't look like this safety car is going to come in until the end of this lap that we're on now, 47. So safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And wow, this really has mixed it up. But Parder Cooper, obviously, we were keeping an eye on earlier because he was on that medium stint. He went out, unfortunately. We've got 9 drivers remaining, so everyone is in the points. Now, John Donkel, just looking there, he's on 2-lap-old mediums. Nicky Visser. Now, this is looking very good for John Donkel and Nicky Visser, isn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly well, it's looking good for them because it's looking bad for 2 drivers ahead of them. So yeah, Visser certainly could find himself on the podium by the end of this race, thanks to Oeschon not coming in when the safety car came out. So yeah, no, they've done the right thing. They've come in under safety car period, and yeah, they're going to make the most of it now.
And this is really going to muck things up for, as we quite rightly said, Oeschon and Mouldering. And I could see, I think they're going to lose those podium places, to be brutally honest. And I think we're going to see a 1, 2, 3 of Debrin, Visser and Donkel.
Yeah, that could be right. Safety car in this lap, of course.
Yeah.
Looks like Mouldering just backing them up a little bit.
Looking to back them up as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, entitled to do so, of course.
Oh, absolutely. So he's opened up the throttle now.
This is coming in the pit.
Yeah,
this is coming in the pit on 2-lap-old mediums. That's
why is that?
Peculiar. Did he get damaged during that safety car period?
Maybe he had a bit of a collision.
Oh no, it's a drive-through. It's a drive-through penalty. He was speeding under the safety car. He had to serve it that lap.
Okay, well that's a shame, because that now means that Visser is out of the running potentially for getting on that podium.
Good news for John Donkel though.
Yeah,
he may get a podium this race.
Well, I think John's on for a podium anyway, to be fair. I think he's certainly on for a podium, and I think Marco Pullen, the other Sauber driver, could well take that P3.
Well, that would be yeah, fantastic news. Both Donken and Pullen managed to get themselves on the podium.
Absolutely, certainly from Pullen's point of view. He's had a bit of an up and down season, although he's had a much stronger season than he had last year. and really starting to come through, getting the old mojo back. Good driver, but not always being able to deliver what he wanted. Ooh, a bit on the rough there, Maldrink. He's pushing, isn't he, Maldrink?
Yeah, he's got no choice really. He's just sort of delaying the inevitable. He's gonna. Oh dear, he's slightly slippy into one.
But as you say, he's got to. He's got to put pedal to the metal and try and get as much as a gap between him and De Bruyne as he possibly can, because that is the only option he's got. Yeah.
Also, De Bruyne's really trying to keep close to him as much as he can as well, using all of his saved up ERS to do so. So yeah, he's not going to let Maldrink out of his sights at all.
And this is critical. Airshine's still in the mix there, but he is on those 20-lap old mediums, and he's already got John Donkel all over his gearbox like a bad rash here as they're coming round turn 8 down into 9. Oh, sorry, that was turn 10. Coming up to 12 now. Surely it's not going to be long before Donkel makes that move. Oh dear. And Pullen going a little bit wide there, around 13. Got to watch that. He's under pressure, Pullen, at the moment, because he's got Peter Phillips on the back of him. Peter Phillips going wide, trying to make the move. Can he do it? No. He's certainly pushing that Sauber, that's for sure. Equally, Marcel Dronig bearing down on the back of that Red Bull. Going to try and make the move before they get into turn 4.
Yeah, meanwhile Donkel's putting the pressure on Erskine as well, forcing Erskine off slightly into turn 3 just through pressure alone.
This is the tricky section now, as they're coming around turn 8, up, round 9, into 10. We saw absolutely blinding move, didn't we?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Boy Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that sneaky dive, it's so clean as well, really good.
It was
really
very well timed. So Ershine is managing to keep Donkel at bay, but it won't be for long.
Up at the front, Mouldering and De Bruyne both matched now on race pace at this stage. It's quite significant, bearing in mind that De Bruyne is on medium tyres and Rob Mouldering is on super softs that are surely about to fall apart any moment.
Well, 25 laps old, they're not going to last much longer. But hats off to Bas De Bruyne, because look, he has stayed under 2 seconds within range of Mouldering. I mean, that takes some going.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, he's used his engine very well and done everything he can to stay within him, within the 2 seconds of him, and so that he knows when he pits, he'll be comfortably up the road when he comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, the question is, how long can Mouldering stay out for?
Oh, Marco Pullen's just making the move on Ershon with the ERS and DRS activated. Ershon's due another pit stop. Is one of only 2 drivers, of course, in this race who need to pit again. Just him and Mouldering.
I was merrily chatting away there. I didn't have my mic on. But no, that's a really important move there from Pullen, isn't it?
Yeah, he needed to get that done, and done quickly as well. He's managed to keep hold of his, keep the car on track and keep the energy in the engine. And again, Sean with another 3-second penalty just shortly after being overtaken. That's never good.
No, not really. It just shows that you're just pushing too hard. You've been flapped.
De Bruyne. Yep, you've been flapped. De Bruyne looks like he might have an opportunity to make the overtake actually on track. unless Moldering comes in now, which he doesn't. Okay,
No.
These lap times, I've just compared them now. He was a second a lap. He was a second faster than Moldering on that lap.
Well, he's coming through the S's now. Senna out of turn 3. And he is all over the back of that Williams, isn't he? I mean, he's not right close in range, but he's not letting him go.
No, he's not, and he's doing enough to keep the pressure firmly on him, as it has been for much of this race, actually, on Rob Moldering. Well, much of this race, since he got up to P2, of course, he started in 10th, and has now found himself back. I mean,
let's not take it away from Moldering. He has done a phenomenal race, and I think De Bruyne certainly wasn't expecting, you know, to have Moldering challenging him, or that he would be looking to chase down Moldering. So from that point of view, a fantastic result from Moldering. You can't take it away from him, but it's just not really worked out as well as it could have done, as well as he wished it had have done, I think. And look at that, Moldering comes in. That was very close. De Bruyne picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting because he was almost following him into the pits there.
Yeah, we saw him do that on the previous lap. He managed to cut that left hand corner just as you come out of 14. I don't think it's going to matter at this point. Although, having said that, John Dog was only 5 seconds behind. Might actually be worth taking a look at the penalties that they've got, the two drivers there.
I don't know if Sebastian picked up any penalties.
I don't. Oh, he has. He's got 3 seconds, so they're actually even. De Bruyne and Donkel.
So this is very interesting now. Obviously, Moldering is coming out, and he is on those super softs as we expected. He has come out in P7. Now he should be on the go. Yes, gets past Peter Phillips straightforwardly, moves up into P6 already. Nicky Visser will be his next target. He's got 17 laps. I mean, what can Moldering do here in these 17 laps? Clearly those super softs will go to the end, but what can he do? How far up can he go?
It's a difficult call. He's got a lot of work to do. I mean, it's entirely possible that he could get back on the podium. I'm gonna go ahead and predict P4 for Moldering.
Well, he makes the move on Visser as Visser comes in. He's made the move on track. Sorry,
he's done it on track. Yeah.
So he's made the move on Visser. Although Visser obviously had to come in and serve that penalty, which was a bit disappointing. I'm sure he's really annoyed with that. He's now got Airshine 5 seconds down the road to him. He should be able to close that gap quite quickly. I'm wondering if he actually isn't going to get himself back into... There was me counting him right out even of a podium finish. And I've got a sneaking suspicion he might even get in there now.
Yeah, I think he's going to do it. He's got the...
he's a man on a mission.
He's got the raw pace, certainly. Yep. By the way, Marco Stappers has just retired from the session. He crashed out in sector 2. I think it was couldn't quite see. I think it might have been just before turn 8.
So Mark Stappers in the McLaren. Looks like it goes out in sector 2. Unusual. We don't normally see Stappers DNFing, so that's an unusual one from him.
Yeah, less than half the grid remaining now, down to just 8 drivers, 10 retirements this session.
Well, this track does claim its victims, it has to be said. Now we are on lap 56 of 71, 15 laps remaining, and you're thinking to yourself, 15 laps? My God! But let me assure you, anything can happen, and I'm still waiting for the rain.
John Donkel, by the way, is only actually half a second off of De Bruyne's pace, and they're both using similar engine modes. So yeah, I think that's a testament to Donkel's pace here in Brazil.
Well, it bodes well, as you said, for season 5, doesn't it? For Renault, certainly.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Just 2 tenths lost on him on that lap.
And he is on a set of mediums as well, so...
Rob Mulderink, 1:10.1. That's an absolutely phenomenal lap. He's really flying now.
Well, he was literally about a couple of laps ago 5 seconds off the back of Erskine. He's now 1.2 seconds off the back of him. He is absolutely flying.
Yeah, gained 2.4 on him on that previous lap. Remarkable.
Yeah, the challenge is going to be, once he gets past Erskine, that's going to be when the challenge is going to start to bite, I think.
Yeah.
Because he can certainly, well, I mean, with this pace, if he maintains it, he could catch up to Donkel and De Bruyne, actually.
Yeah, he could find himself back up there. That's, I mean, really impressive stuff. If he can get himself back in that fight, that's, yeah, amazing.
Well, I certainly didn't call that, I'll be brutally honest, and I had no expectations of him doing that. But I seem to be being proven wrong here.
Yeah, sweet move on Erskine there, just under DRS. He looked like he went for the dummy. Looked like he was going to go around on the right-hand side and dive back in on the inside, just past the pit wall. Yeah, really smooth move. You know, from the Williams driver. Again, that was another 1:10.4 that lap. So he's gained 1.7 on pulling ahead of him. And if he can keep doing that before these tyres completely disintegrate, yeah, he could be back on the podium.
Now, this is the question: is he pushing these tyres too hard?
Well, yeah, he may well be. He may well be, but in his eyes, he probably feels he hasn't really got much of a choice. He's going to do the absolute best he can, get as far up the pack as he can before the tyres do just disintegrate, and hopefully that won't be until the final lap or just after.
Well, he's got 12 laps remaining. He's done 5 laps, so 17 laps. We've seen these super softs go 19 laps at the start of this race with a full fuel load, so there's going to be some point where he's going to have to back off. And look at this, he's all over the back here. The Sauber makes the move into turn 4. Does he make it stick? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Doesn't do it.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Is he going to
Good
do
driving
a boy
from
here
both drivers, though.
Well, Marco's doing a great job defending there. But let's see if he does a boy into 10.
He wasn't taking any stick, was he, Marco Pullen, from the you know, arguably faster Rob Mulderink, sorry. He wasn't just going to let him go just purely because he's on the faster tyres and, you know, has that raw pace.
Yeah.
He's
not making it easy for him, that's for sure.
So well. No, certainly not. Fair play to him. That's exactly what you want from
well, he doesn't have to,
from a race driver.
Oh, nice little swap over there.
Bit of deja vu there. That was exactly what he did on Erskine on the previous lap.
So that's clearly a signature move there from Mulderink.
I think it might be. We might see that rain, by the way.
It's getting very grey.
It's looking a bit overcast. It is.
Well,
where those clouds will suddenly come from.
Brazil without rain just never happens. So we're on board at the moment with Rob Mulderink.
That could make things interesting, couldn't it? In the last few laps, if it does suddenly chuck it down.
It's yeah, that's one thing about Brazil. It certainly makes it interesting, that's for sure. Let's quickly run through our runners and riders while we're here in reverse order. Marcel Dronig, he's down in P8 in the Renault. Peter Phillips in the Red Bull is P7. Nicky Visser in the Sauber is P6. Guido Erskine in the Renault, P5. Marco Pullen in the Sauber is P4. Rob Mulderink is now up onto the podium, P3. And as I said earlier, I didn't call that. I really thought that was it. But he has proven me very wrong indeed. He's already up to P3 and closing down on John Donkel in the Force India, who's in P2. There are 10 laps remaining. I don't think he's going to be able to challenge. I don't know. No, I don't think he's going to be able to challenge De Bruyne, but he could well challenge Donkel. And Bas De Bruyne for Ferrari is in P1. What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, he may challenge Donkel. His pace does seem to be dwindling slightly from what it was just a few laps ago. He was gaining just 0.3 on Donkel on the previous lap. See how he does on this one. Just as he comes over the line. Donkel's just done an 11.7.
I'm just wondering if he's lost the prime on those super softs.
Yeah, he might have done. Donkel's done 11.7. He's just set an 11.1, so he has gained 0.6. It's enough to catch him by the end. No, well, almost catch him by the end of the race. But then, it's another thing to pass someone, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
Meanwhile, Guido Erschein. No, sorry, not Erschein. Nicky Viss has just set his fastest lap of the race on 17 lap old mediums.
Interesting. But then again, he hasn't got the fuel load anymore, has he?
Yeah, agreed. He doesn't have the fuel load, and probably got had lots of energy saved up. He's actually all over the back of Erschein as well.
Yeah, he is all over the back of Erschein like a bad rash at the moment. So he's clearly looking to make the move on the Renault driver as they're coming round turn 8, 9.
Erschein's tyres are twice as old as well.
Yeah. .33 laps on those mediums. I think that's the longest stint we've seen on the mediums so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it is so far. Yeah, there's still 8 to do plus the end of this one.
Yeah. So how's Muldering doing? Well, he is closing, but it's not at the same pace, certainly, that he was doing earlier. But maybe it's enough. Maybe that's what he's looking for. He just wanted to get onto that podium position, and now what he's going to do is maintain it.
Yeah, maybe he's actually just gone purple in the first sector. Perhaps he can hear us. His previous lap was a 1:10.6, so he is kind of back to that.
Was he
back
harvesting?
In the 110 certainly? Yeah, he was fastest in that first sector. Was he harvesting? He may well have been. He may well have been to give himself another go.
Yeah.
Yeah, may well have been. Good point.
So
it's 5 seconds now separating.
Yeah. So he could have been just getting ready for another stint, and that being the case, he can probably do another sort of 2 real quick flyers. If he can try and close the gap down, harvest a little bit more. If he can get down to say a couple of seconds, harvest, and then make the final move for the close of the race, he should be able to get that P2.
Yeah, it's definitely on the cards now. Didn't think that a few laps ago, did we?
I definitely didn't think it. I definitely thought he'd blown it completely, but I'm happy to be proven wrong.
You got to respect his willingness and his skill to get back up there.
And
even after the safety car incident.
Well, yeah, I mean, lest we forget, obviously we've had quite a number of DNFs, but even that said, before we had that number of DNFs, he had moved up 8 places, on that leaderboard, irrespective. Now, okay, he's moved up 7 places as we see it now, but he had moved up. Excuse me. Excuse me while I die. He had moved up 8 places, irrespective, before we'd even lost, most of the drivers that we have through DNF. So he has really fought very hard all the way through this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was in P2 by his own merit, not by sort of other things happening, and yeah, and he's done really well to recover after the, as I said, the safety car incident, sort of not coming in during safety car period. Everyone else did, and he lost out, but he's managed to recover back to P3 and possibly on for a second place finish.
Absolutely, and you know, I want a big shout out to John Donkel as well, because he has done phenomenally well as well, because he moved up 8 places. He's got 11 places now on the board, but he has had an absolutely inspired race. You know, we're talking about Mouldering here, but Donkel, really, he's not really put a foot wrong.
No, again, hit the nail on the head. I was going to say he's done everything right, hasn't he? Donkel State kept himself out of trouble. Had good, solid, like pure solid pace all the way through this race. Yeah, and it just hasn't done a thing wrong. I don't want to jinx him, so I'm not going to say too much about him. But yeah, let's hope he's still there.
And I would say
in,
equally for Marco Pullard in the Sauber as well, because he has raced a great race as well here. And again, you know, yeah, he's moved up quite a considerable amount of places. We've had a lot of DNFs, but he moved up those places before we had those DNFs, irrespective. So all 3 of those drivers have done a fantastic job.
Yeah, no, a lot of respect for them, and yeah, they thoroughly deserve to be where they are. Good race for Sauber here collectively as well. Actually, they're going to pick up if they stay where they are. Going to pick up 22 points, which is you know, it's no mean feat. They're not going to be you know, sniffed at. Could say Visser deserves to be perhaps slightly higher than that. Did have a drive-through penalty, didn't he? But they could be 3 and 4 rather than 4 and 5. Just 4 laps to go here. John Donkel's falling back slightly, not by much, only losing 2/10 a lap to Debris ahead of him. Mouldering's pace is dwindling again slightly, some 8/10 slower than his best, but still 8/10 faster than John Donkel. It's going to be close by the end. I think he might be hoping for a bit of rain just to spice it up, give him one last hope of taking a win. It looks like it wants to rain, but just can't quite manage it.
It's definitely thinking about it, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I could just see Molderick doing a little rain dance in his car, lap after lap.
But would it suit his purposes, do you think, now? I don't think that would help him, to be honest.
If it came at just the right time, i.e. just after Debris and Donk would pass the pit lane and just before he gets there, then he can dive in, get on the tyres. That's the only way it's going to work. Yeah, which is, that's a very sort of long, you know, it's quite long odds on that happening just that way. And I was wondering what happened there. Guido Ershine just looked like he went wide into turn 1. He seemed to have let his teammate, who was a lap behind, unlap himself.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
wasn't too sure.
Marcel Dronig in
Marcel Dronig is in 8th place.
Yeah, I think... I was just going to say, I think Ershine's tyres are probably... I mean, they're coming up for their 40th lap. This will be their 40th lap complete. So, yeah, he's probably not getting the pace he's used to. In fact, his lap times, he's doing 1:13.0, so he is, you know, don't like to say this about Ershine, but he is the slowest driver out there at the moment.
No, hardly surprising, let's be honest. So we're on lap 69, the dreaded 69 of 71. And what is going to happen now? We've got Bas Debris still in first place, but we've got Marcel Dronig, he's currently P8. Peter Phillips in the Red Bull is P7. Guido Ershine in the Renault is P6. P5 is Nicky Visser. He's just behind his teammate Marco Pullen, who's in P4. Fantastic race from Marco Pullen. Rob Mouldering, well, he's only 1.8 seconds off the back of John Donkel now, who's raced a fantastic race. Both these drivers, all three drivers, Marco Pullen, Rob Mouldering and John Donkel, have raced a fantastic race. But clearly Rob Mouldering is going to be looking, if he can, in the closing 2 laps of this race, to close down that gap to Donkel and take that second place on the podium. Breen, well, what can we say? Sublime race, as always, from the Ferrari driver. Lost his teammate before they'd even got, I think, round the second turn. So he's had to be fighting out there all on his own. But he has responded fantastically. And he's clearly going to be taking the win here and sealing his second place in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. He's also got an opportunity to win the championship himself after Bogard's retirement here. Bogard still only does just need 4 points to clinch it, but you know, if we have a similar result in the next race as well, it could actually be De Bruyne's title. Also, keep an eye on Rob Mouldering. The battle for P2 is very close now. I think John Donkel made a mistake on the previous lap. I think it was that turn 14 that caught him out. Panicked a little bit and lost quite a lot of time.
He has, because he's only just under 7/10 behind him now. And they're on the penultimate lap. Breen has started his final lap. But now Mouldering.
Donkel's low on fuel as well. Donkel's under-fueled.
Oh dear, this could be very dodgy indeed. We're coming up to the turn 1, and Mouldering is definitely going to be pushing here.
Donkel's got the engine cranked right up.
Oh, Mouldring's just got a 3-second time penalty.
Ouch. He didn't want that. He didn't want that. That's 9 seconds now for Mouldering.
And
See, John Donkel won't know that.
Side, coming round turn 5 into 6, 7, round turn 8 now.
Donkel defending with all his might.
He's just making that car, that Force India, as wide as he possibly can.
I know we don't want to take our eyes off it, but De Bruyne is going to be coming round turn 14.
Round turn 14 now. Turn 15. Look at this. Sublime. And Ferrari, Breen takes the win here at Brazil. Fantastic result for him. John Donkel and Rob Mouldering. Oh, he just makes
a photo finish.
Oh,
that was a photo
goodness.
Finish between them.
That was so close. So John Donkel picks up second place. Rob Mouldering picks up third. Never what I expected. Got to be honest there. Visser did get ahead of Pullen as well. So that's interesting. Visser picks up P4. Pullen is P5. Guido Airshine P6. P7 will be Peter Phillips. And P8 was Marcel Dronig. Well, what a race, and we didn't get any rain.
We didn't. It was really trying towards the end. That finish, by the way, between Donkel and Rob Mulder, had there been no penalties, Rob Mouldering would have beaten him by 0.036 seconds.
Phenomenal.
But because, yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal race. And great result here from the drivers. Breen takes the win for Ferrari. Well, it's what we've come to expect, but fantastic result there. John Donkel for Force India picks up second place. And Rob Mouldering for Williams. Phenomenal third place. Great, absolutely fantastic race. Great show from Rob Mouldering, John Donkel and Marco Pullen. All three drivers did a fantastic race there. And yeah, that was an absolutely superb Brazilian Grand Prix. Really was. Nicky Visser picks up fourth, Marco Pullen for Sauber fifth, Guido Airshine for Renault 6, Peter Phillips for Red Bull 7, Marcel Dronig for Renault was 8. DNFs were Mark Stappers for McLaren, Damie Hartman for Haas, Miguel Tourney for Force India, Martin Parder-Cooper for Red Bull, Marcel France for Toro Rosso, Kevin Van Delft for McLaren, Boy Williamson for Haas, Stan Drumkov and Zander Hermans for Mercedes, Seb Bogart for Ferrari. Well, that's it. And next week we are at Abu Dhabi, and we are there to decide who will be the champion for season 4. Not what were you expecting, Adrian?
No, really wasn't. I know I say it's about all these F1 Tonight races, but yeah, that was thoroughly entertaining, totally unexpected. Yeah, I mean, the champion or the champion elect just needed 4 points to clinch the title, and the DNFs on the in turn 1.
Yeah, certainly not what we were expecting.
And the guy in second in the championship wins the race, so yeah, it's all back on now.
It definitely is. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We should be up to full speed, full volume next week at Abu Dhabi, so please join us there. Thank you very much, Adrian, and let's say good night to everybody.
Yeah, a pleasure as always, Eddie. Yeah, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week at Abu Dhabi.